I'm going to show you how I make my own almond milk at home. I always make 5 cups of almond milk or less since we don't go through a lot of almond milk in our house. And because of that, I actually like the strainer method. I find it's extra easy and it just works for me. Prior to using the strainer method, I used a nut milk bag, which is also the more common way to make almond milk. So instead of using a strainer when you're straining the almond water and the pulp through here, you actually pour your blender of blended almonds and water into here. And you just kind of squeeze the milk and you work it gently, otherwise it goes everywhere. So you just kind of work it out. I don't know why, but I just thought it was more work for me. So I started doing the strainer one day and I've kept up with it. So I'm going to show you that. You first start by soaking almonds in water, and I use a jar because I'm a jar person. I use a jar because it just saves room in my fridge. But if you do make a larger amount of almond milk, use bowls. You're going to need you might even need a larger container than this. But basically soak however many almonds you want. Your ratio of almond to water when you're making almond milk is generally 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. I do 1 to 4, so say 1 cup of almonds to 4 cups of water when I'm using it for golden milk lattes or creamer. You could even use less if you want it thicker for creamer, but I use it 1 to 5 when I'm using it for recipes such as pancakes or something that I'm not just tasting the milk on its own. So I spread it out that way, and it also saves money that way. But anyways, you are going to first soak your almonds overnight. Soaking, first of all, removes the outer shell. It helps you digest almond milk better, and it also is supposedly more nutritious that way. I find it more nutritious, so I believe that. But whether you use the bowl or a jar to soak your almonds, you're going to cover the almonds about 2 inches above, 1 to 2 inches above them. As they soak, they will expand. So you want to make sure there's enough water. If you're just doing it overnight and you're going to make your almond milk for sure the next day, just put them in a bowl. You could even use a larger bowl. Put the almonds in the bowl on your counter and cover it with a large towel and just let it soak overnight. I would do 24 hours ideally. If you are like me and you stick them in the fridge because you tend to forget about making it the next day, I usually leave them and I soak them for usually 2 days in the fridge. And it's more so because I forget, so that's why I do it that way. But either way, just put almonds in a bowl, cover it with water, and when you're ready, you are going to pour this in a strainer in your sink, rinse the almonds, and you are ready to go. So I've already soaked these almonds for 2 days. So these, and again, you do not need 2 days. 24 hours is fine, and I've even been known to not soak my almonds at all when I'm in a bind and I need a recipe fast. But ideally, the longer and the more creamier, the better, and more nutritious. So there is a 1/2 cup of almonds in here. So I'm going to do 2 cups of water, and I could do 2.5. So 2 cups of water is 1 to 4, a ratio of 1 to 4 almonds to water, and 2.5 is 1 to 5. So I have a 1/2 cup, and I am doing of almonds, 2 cups of water. And this is a typical amount I do often because again, we don't use a lot of milk, and homemade milk keeps, I would say 3 to 4 days. Yeah, you could stretch it to 5 days, but I think it's best right away, especially within the first 2 days. So I also don't like to keep a lot of milk made because I think it tastes best fresh. So I'm going to start the blender on low, and then I'll work its way to high until it's fully blended. good 30 seconds. Mine's an older blender, so it sometimes takes a little bit longer. You might have a new blender, it might be fast, but you'll know when it's blended. So this is it. I'm putting it over a Purex container. I only make up to 5 cups of almond milk, so this works great, even though it's a 4-cup Purex, or is it Pyrex? Don't know. It will fit up to 5 cups. So I think this is easier because in the end I have this little lip to pour in my jar. But all I do is strain it through the strainer. And I didn't pour it all, I just kind of let it have a good amount. I won't want to set it on the bowl because then it's going to drip through the sides. So you just take a spoon and kind of move around the pulp so that the milk can get through. And for some reason, I find this much easier than squeezing an almond milk bag, or nut bag, I should say, over and over. And I'm just gonna pour the rest. So again, if you're doing large amounts of milk, I would not do this method. But if you're like me and you only make smaller amounts of milk or only need smaller amounts of milk, I think this is just a great, easy way. You might lose a little milk, but it's very little. And I'm pretty thorough with moving it around. And yeah, so far that's 2 cups. It's just thick almond pulp. I will say I toss mine. I know there's recipes online of people making crackers with it, but I do not. Okay, it's good. So that is that. And then pour it in whatever container of your choice and keep it in the fridge. Like I said, it will keep up to 5 days, but I would say 2, 3, 4 max would be more ideal, and it's best fresh right away. So pour it in whatever container of your choice. Again, I use a jar, so this will be, I'm not gonna mix them because this was 2 days ago's milk. And we're actually gonna make golden milk lattes today, which is why I made this much milk. Otherwise I would not even have this much milk left. So I hope this helped you, and now you are inspired to make your own milk at home. It's super easy and inexpensive. I will say, if this method is not for you, because you do have a family and you need to make larger amounts of milk, and you don't want to purchase a nut bag or milk bag, you can try it this way. Just use a large bowl and get a really thin cotton dish towel or a flour sack towel like I have here, and just put the towel over your bowl like so. And instead of pouring this over the strainer, you would take this mixture carefully and pour it over the bowl. It's gonna press down the center of the towel, and then you're just gonna grab your corners like so, and just work your way slowly again, otherwise it comes out the side. And it's the same idea as a nut bag and free, because I'm sure you already have it in your cupboard. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know. Have a great day.